All right, hello everybody, and welcome to episode 3 of our IC Alumni Summer Series. Today, joining me today is 2011 graduate Alex Bremner. Alex had a great career at IC, a member of 2 regional championship winning teams, and quite a few individual accolades as well. How you doing today, Alex?
I'm doing pretty good. We're going to have to make this fast because in 15 minutes I got an ESPN interview. So I don't know if you can work with that time, but
completely understandable. We know you've got many important things to go, so we will get you in and out of here as quick as possible. I appreciate you coming and taking the time to talk with me today. Can you believe it's almost been 10 years since you graduated high school already?
No, I tell you what, time flies. I'm starting to feel old, especially watching these kids this year. And
Sure.
They were what? And they're in like 5th, 6th grade when I was graduating. It's crazy.
Yeah, it goes quick, and
Yeah.
I think it's crazy. I remember I student taught you. I remember that's how long how long
Right. It's
so,
been a while.
so tell me, I want to start a little bit about how you got started in basketball. What made you start to love basketball? How old were you when you started, and who were some of your influences?
Yeah, so I first started playing basketball probably 3rd or 4th grade, and that's when the elementary schools weren't consolidated yet. So I was just Waterman. So it was actually me and Josh Johnson who was on our team, and we went up to the Park District in DeKalb, and I don't know, we just, for some reason, our parents got us involved. We joined, I think it was 3rd grade, a Park District League, and I don't know, it just kind of took off from there. My dad's always been super competitive, and he always had a ball in my hands at an early age, so kind of felt natural.
What other sports did you play when you were young besides basketball?
Golf, pretty much just golf, baseball, and basketball, and soccer too.
In soccer, okay. One thing that always stood out to me about your team and your class is it seemed like you guys were very tight-knit and very close and had a really good relationship. Where do you think that relationship started with the team, and was it from playing at a young age? Was it more towards high school? What do you think that was?
Yeah, no, it started young because Josh and I we were close, and he was on our team. We started in 3rd or 4th grade, but I feel like it was before even middle school. We started playing with like Seth and Cal and Tyler Foster, even though he quit, David and Matt Reynolds. So we started young. I think it was 5th grade or 6th grade, like before we even started like playing as school ball, like on our own little like league. So I feel like that kind of helped us get close early, and then we'd always hang out, and it just kind of blossomed into something like real nice because you could really trust everybody. You knew what they're thinking, and it really meshed.
Yeah, absolutely. And how do you think that helps in team sports when you do have a bunch of guys that don't just get along on the court, but get along off the court as well?
I just think it makes it easier. I think if you don't really say you're just like teammates, I think it's harder to confront somebody if like, hey, being a friend and being like, hey, like to whoever, like, I think you might need to be doing that better. I think,
Sure.
Although that we'll fight, but like, I feel like since we have that friendship, we were able to like say, hey, we really need to address these issues. Like maybe this person isn't doing something right. Maybe I'm not doing something right. But I felt like we were able to actually like confront each other and actually hold each other accountable.
Absolutely. I think that's really important in any team sport is to
Right.
trust that person. So I agree. And I think that was one of the things that your teams had was that ability. At what point, when you guys were all playing together, did you start to realize, hey, this might be a pretty good team in the future in high school, or maybe some people were telling you that?
Yeah, I think we started, when we were young, we didn't really know because, I don't know, you're just trying to learn the game. But in 7th grade, actually, I think we first started thinking like, hey, we could be pretty good because we started the season and we won like the first 12 games.
Okay.
And then I think we finished the season horribly, but like it was that start of that season that really like helped. And then in 8th grade, we won the conference tournament. And so, I think at like middle school is when we started believing like, hey, when we get to high school, like we could really have something there.
And we fast forward to your junior year where that was a very interesting season because we won a lot of championships that year, and
Yeah.
and had a lot of success, and won the first regional championship at Indian Creek since I think it was 1997. So it had been
Wow.
it had been a while, about 13 years. What do you remember about that regional championship your junior year when we won it at home?
Yeah, junior year was really fun. I think I really, looking back, I really appreciated junior year because like I didn't play varsity as a sophomore. So like junior year, like that first experience on the varsity level, like it's new, you know, it's not, sophomore ball is great, but it's like once you come to varsity, like the atmosphere is bigger, it's better. And so junior year was great. The seniors that are on the team, I thought they were fantastic. And that regional championship, everybody was making a big deal out of it, but it was a team that we should have won, you know, like, and we won pretty easily.
Yes.
So, I mean, at the time, I wasn't really thinking too much about it because it was a game I knew we should win, but obviously you love getting hardware, you know what I mean? So it was special, especially knowing that I had the next year. That I felt like that was, I could almost relax and soak it all in more, knowing that I have had senior year to come back to.
And so now let's fast forward to senior year, because that was quite the interesting regional championship game. And
Yeah.
and I think you can claim one of the most memorable moments in Indian Creek history. And just to give everybody a kind of an idea of what it was, regional championship game, tie game, 3.9 seconds to go. We have the ball, and Alex makes the game-winning shot. I think something people dream of at all times. So I'd like to do, before you talk about that, I have it queued up. I'd like you to watch it, and then you can kind of talk about what you remember from that and what your feelings were. Okay, does that sound good?
All right. Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let me get this set up here. So we'll just let you watch it first, and then we'll talk about it here.
All right, sounds good.
Oh, where'd you go? All right, here we go.
Wow.
Right. So I don't know, when was the last time you've seen that?
It's been a few years for sure.
So tell me, obviously, you know, it's such a great moment, such a great experience. Tell me about that game, what you remember. Tell me about that shot.
The game was, it was bizarre, to say the least. I mean, because we started the game, we got out to a 16-0 lead. Correct. And we were playing the same team we played the year before. And I mean, it's easy to let your mind run, but you kind of just assume you're going to like keep it on them. But I don't know what changed, and they really fought back hard, and they made the adjustments they needed to make. And I mean, all of a sudden in the fourth quarter, we're losing. And I just remember thinking to myself, like, there is no way, like, I got to do everything I got to do possible to like make sure that we don't end the season like this. And it was not me alone. I mean, I remember Cal and I kind of combined for a great steal to like actually tie it back up, which that was huge. So I mean, that was kudos to Cal. Cal made 2 clutch free throws at the end of the game. And so I mean, it was a team effort. I mean, we needed to all step up, and I was fortunate enough to have you and the team trust me to take that shot. I know other guys on the team would also want to take that shot. Seth, I'm sure, he wanted to take that shot Cal. But I just remember you telling me you got plenty of time to get it down the floor, catch it curling, and just go as far as you can, keep your eye on the clock, and just let it fire. Yes. And that's what I did. And when I left my hand, it felt like it was a little long, but it was right on line.
Okay.
And so seeing it like hit the back of the rim and then the front and then actually go down, it was a cool moment. I mean, I kind of blacked out right then because the whole stadium erupted. Yeah, but I mean, it was just like a relief. It was a relief off my shoulders because I just knew like I did not want it to end for me and the guys that I've been playing with so long in that way. You know, I wanted to at least win a regional.
Absolutely. And I think you're right. That was maybe one of the craziest games I'd ever been a part of, going up 6
Yeah,
nothing. And I remember saying to Coach Orsted after we got up 16 nothing, because we were playing out of our minds. I'd never seen us play that way. And I even
yeah,
remember saying to him, I don't think we can keep this pace up. I didn't think it would
you're
collapse.
right.
I didn't think it would collapse as much as it collapsed, but then you're right. Cal had some huge free throws. Seth had, I think, a huge three to get us back into
Yeah,
it. We had a lot of key plays, and then that play obviously capped it off. And I do remember telling you in that huddle, you asked, how far can I get? And I said, I don't think you can get to the rim, but you'll have a good shot at it here.
right.
That's about as good as good a shot as you can get.
Yeah, I'll take. I remember dribbling up, and I remember Seth was ready. He had his hands in the position, and I was thinking about it for a second, but I was just, I don't know, at full speed ahead. I mean, we're all competitors. We all kind of want that last shot. You know what I mean? We trust ourselves, but we trust everybody else. But I really wanted that shot.
And I'd say you made the right decision.
Yeah.
So looking ahead, I know you were at some of the games from the team this past season.
Yeah.
How would you compare? Let's start with this question first. Do you ever think about your regional championship teams in 2010 and 2011 kind of started this run that Indian Creek has had with the success, and it kind of has culminated into the season this year. Do you ever think about the influence that maybe even that team 10 years ago had on a team maybe this year?
It's funny you say that. I kind of was thinking about that in the sense of, and I was thinking more at the time of like watching how amazing this team was and watching the environment of all these games. And I was thinking about being a young child, like watching it, you know what I mean? And like how that instills something special. Like you want that environment then, you want to be a champion. You want to like put in the hard work for that moment. So I was thinking about it for this year's team for the youth. And I did kind of get me thinking about kind of what we did as juniors and seniors and our championships, and maybe hopefully it kind of instilled the same like competitiveness, that wanting to be in that moment, like for the guys that played this year.
Absolutely. I think that's a really good way to put it, because like you said, those players on this year's team were 4th, 5th, 6th graders when you were playing. So I'm sure some of them were at that Amboy game that we just watched right there.
Yeah, exactly.
How would you compare having watched some of the games this year, how has the game changed from when you played compared to today? What's different? How are the athletes different? How is the game different?
Ooh, that's a tough one. It's tough because how me thinking about the memory of how the games were,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if my mind has like altered it, but I just feel like the game might be faster paced, like I don't know if you feel that way. You see year by year it changing, but
Yes.
from the stands it just seems like, okay, it's almost like watching a tennis match, you know what I mean? Like the ball's over here, it's over there.
I would 100% agree. That is the biggest difference. When you played, everything was much more half-court set.
Yeah.
Your stuff, and now
Yeah.
it's how quickly can you score a layup or a three-pointer, and then
Right.
do it again. So it's a very, very good observation right there.
Yeah. So that's probably the only thing I've really noticed. But yeah, I mean, I feel like when we played, we definitely like got into the half court, like set it up, like get something going, and I just feel like it's a little more, let's get our layups, let's like try to get it out, push, try to get a layup and get it running.
Yes, and a little bit has to do with what who you have on your team as well. This team obviously was.
Yeah, you had some speedsters.
Yes, was much better at doing that.
Gaston and Cameron on the real fast.
Absolutely. So tell me a little bit about what you're up to now, what you've been doing since high school.
Yeah, after high school, I went to Abanzi for 2 years, got my associates, played golf there, and then I took a year off of school and I moved down to Orlando, and I played on the mini tours for golfing for 6 years. And this was actually the first year I didn't go back down there. And so it kind of worked out well with the virus and everything because there's no tournaments to play. So this year I'm kind of just like considering my options and whatnot. I kind of got burnt out with golf and just the competition and the constant grind. So I don't know. I mean, there's a chance I'll still give it a go, but for right now, it's definitely put on hold.
How many hole-in-ones in your career?
Only one, surprisingly.
Only one more than me. One more than me, and one more than most people.
There was a cool story behind it. It was when I was at Waubonsee. It was in a tournament, and my teammate made a hole-in-one the same day on a different hole. And so, like, the chances of a hole-in-one are I don't know, 1 in 40,000 or something.
Sure.
And like two teammates, 2 different holes, hole-in-one. We actually made national headlines, which was pretty cool.
Very cool.
But only one.
Very cool. Excellent. But like I said, that's one more than most people. So, well, Alex, I really appreciate you taking the time today. It's been good catching up with you. You were a part of a couple of fantastic teams that to win back-to-back regionals is quite the feat. And you're an all-conference player. You're an all-area player. I believe you're an honorable mention all-state player. So you had a great career at IC and have represented it well. So I really appreciate you coming on today.
Yeah, thanks. Anytime.
Thank
you. Good
you.
catching up with you.
Yes. So that was Alex Bremner, class 2011. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And we will see you again for episode 4 in the near future.